When we hear the word symphony, we think of an orchestra playing a variety of instruments that create beautiful music. Symphony can also be applied in other contexts, such as literature, the arts, organizations, and collaborative projects. It also refers to things harmoniously arranged to create something cohesive and complete. Rex Education's Symphony of Learning Solutions is a suite of learning tools designed by experts to nurture learners in every stage of their lifelong journey. It involves a seamless and meaningful integration of diverse learning resources and experiences that aid in creating an environment where every learner is healthy, safe, engaged, supported, challenged, and values-oriented. Every learning tool is an instrument that aims to address the issues and challenges that involve our learners and their learning achievements. Rex created a seamless and meaningful symphony of learning solutions for basic education that are curriculum-aligned and technologically enabled, promote evidence-based teaching and learning, and address key challenges and concerns of learners today. Rex Education offers different kinds of assessments, catering to different needs of institutions and learner to help strengthen evidence-based teaching and learning in schools. Rex ACES, or Assessment of Competencies and Excellence of Students, is a standardized test created and implemented by the Rex Institute for Student Excellence, or RISE, the assessment arm of Rex. It is curriculum-aligned, internationally benchmarked, and is designed to check on the strengths, weaknesses, and achievements of the students and may provide data that could help institutions enhance or improve the implementation of curriculum and instruction. Rex Education's work texts have been carefully designed and developed to increase opportunities for learner success and skills improvement and readiness for higher education and future employment. These resources are also meant to help learners thrive in the 21st century. Through years of collaboration with curriculum experts, competent authors, and a whole team of educampions, Rex's learning materials are DepEd Matatag ready. Rex work texts for pre-elementary, grade school, and junior and senior high school also integrate social-emotional learning themes relatable and adjusted to the learning capacities of each grade level. Various work texts come with an instructional kit or teacher's manual to assist our teachers in enhancing the learning experiences of students. If there is something that the pandemic taught us, it is that learning continuity is vulnerable to threats that are beyond our control. Apart from access, collaboration and alignment amongst institution members are critical in ensuring quality education is still delivered. For this, Rex offers Schoology, a cloud-based learning management system that provides a centralized platform for personalized teaching and learning. It allows teachers to connect to students and families to come up with learning pathways customized to every learner's needs. Mastery of STEAM proficiencies is also critical as we prepare our learners for future. Rex Education, through its partner First EduSpec Incorporated, offers an enhanced STEAM curriculum using coding and robotics as tools for experiential learning. Rex Education has a series of workbooks called My Career Journey. It can be used during career guidance sessions and is composed of personal, social, academic and career learning and development modules to help Filipino youth achieve success in their chosen careers as a reasonable working citizen able to contribute to society. To help address skills mismatch, early interventions such as Harrison assessment tests may be administered for students to gain a better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and the possible professional career that they can explore where they'll thrive best. Rex Education has also partnered with JA Philippines to offer Business Skills Pass, which aims to provide students with the opportunity to develop practical entrepreneurial experience before they leave secondary schooling. REAP, or Resource for Educators, Academicians and Professionals, a training and professional development company of Rex, continuously provides relevant, up-to-date, and innovative professional development solutions designed and delivered by expert trainers. From building the basic skill sets to training for proficiency to reaching mastery, Rex Education has thoughtfully designed them all with the best interests of the learner in mind and heart, and continues to push boundaries to augment learning instruments worthy of the symphony. All this we do para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, para sa bayan.
We begin our webinar today with our prayer and national anthem.
In respectful presence of our brothers and sisters across boundaries and faiths, let us all join in prayer and worship and gratitude and for guidance. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and all its joys. We thank you for today, for all its challenges, in all its splendor. We thank you for the gift of one another. O God of infinite mercy and wisdom, only in unity with your will can all our toils have true meaning. Transform us into willing and able stewards of this world and its future. Bring us together to work with understanding and compassion. As we toil and grow weary, we pray for renewed strength and resolve. As we experience pain and sorrow, let us be reminded of untold good beyond. As we see pain and suffering, let us be instruments of your peace and extensions of your loving and healing hands. As we gather here today, bless us all that our collective knowledge be tempered and guided by your wisdom. Grant us clarity of vision to see the common good amidst all distractions. Endow us with humility and purity of heart to transcend all differences and reservations. When we leave this gathering, let us be the change we seek. As we endeavor to practice what we learn, let us be the good we want to see in others. As we work for our learners and their future, let it be that your will be done. In solemn silence, let us conclude with our own personal prayer.
Sinanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwa
Welcome everyone to our last episode or episode 7 of our webinar series. We have Ms. Jean Marie F. Tordesillas, Chief Marketing Officer of Rex Education.
To our esteemed panelists for today's episode, Dr. Ferdinand Pitagan, Mr. John Paul Viernes, and Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua, thank you for sharing your expertise with us. To our host, moderator, and the creative mind behind this entire webinar series, Mr. Francis Jim Toscano, thank you for leading us through each session with your trademark generosity, insight, and genuine care for our educators. And to all our educampions joining us today, educators, parents, and partners in education, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the final episode of our 7-part webinar series on the responsible and enlightened use of artificial intelligence in education. We've truly come a long way since our first session last November 18. Today's episode, Building Capacity from Policy to Practice, brings together school leaders, policymakers, and practitioners to address a big question we often hear. How do we move from high-level guidelines for AI in education to actual sustainable practices on the ground? As UNESCO puts it, AI must be purposeful and contextual, and integrated in ways that support learners, teachers, and institutions, not imposed as a one-size-fits-all solution. Our panelists will share practical ideas for strengthening institutional capacity, creating professional learning programs that truly support teachers, and building evaluation approaches that help us understand both the ethical and educational impacts of AI. Because at the end of the day, we want technology to serve people, not the other way around. With that, welcome once again, and thank you for being part of this journey. May we all continue to champion the enlightened and responsible use of artificial intelligence in education. Para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, para sa bayan.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us live for the last time for our last episode here at Rex Education. Thank you for staying with us throughout the 7 episode on the responsible and enlightened use of artificial intelligence in schools, inspired by the MAPSA AI integration framework and policy guidelines. Again, I am Francis Jim Toscano, and it continues to be a privilege to guide you, every one of us, as we deepen our collective understanding of how AI can strengthen learning, formation, research, and even school leadership while remaining faithful to the mission and identity of Philippine education. All right. So before we proceed, let's just do a roll call of where we are coming right now. So I'm on the Facebook live of Rex Education page, and I'm seeing a lot coming from different parts of the country. So, welcome to our webinar series. Some of our colleagues are coming from Samar. I hope you're having a better weather right now in Visayas. We have friends coming from Davao, Manila, Imos, Tagbilaran, of course, from Davao del Norte and Pangasinan. So, thank you for being here with us. If it's your 7th episode, thank you for being loyal and faithful to our discussion. For sure, you have already heard a lot about AI, and we had amazing panelists and speakers for the last few episodes sharing with us their insights and expertise on AI. If you're here for the first time, welcome. This is our last episode. If you are interested to look at the other episodes that tackled about leadership, student learning in AI, and teacher tools, especially with the use of AI, you may look at or search them on Rex Education's Facebook page. All right. So thank you again for being here with us. Again, before we proceed, I invite everyone to take note of an important milestone of our education community in the Philippines. Here with me is the book. It's called the MAPSA AI Integration Framework Policy Guidelines. By the PAPSA School Network and published by Rex Education. This is a full reference book for Catholic schools across the Philippines. This resource offers a comprehensive guidance for leaders, teachers, and policymakers working to build ethical, school mission aligned, and future ready approaches to AI integration. And I had the honor to lead the drafting, the writing, the completion of this comprehensive. I think this is one of the first comprehensive books on AI policy. So if you open the policy guidelines, it's not just about policies for students. It talks about how leadership can use AI, how AI could be used in research, how to cite them, and everything. So it follows the whole school framework that assumes that everyone in school are using AI, and therefore we need a comprehensive policy guideline. So if you're interested, you may scan the QR code that you are seeing on your screen. If you are a Catholic school, this can be your starting point. But if you are not a Catholic school, but you don't have a concrete idea of where to start, you may use this as well as a reference because a lot of the content applies whether you are in a Catholic, public, or private school. All right. So as we conclude this series today, it is worth remembering the path we have taken. So just a quick recap. In episode one, we were grounded in with the human core of education. So before we jumped into AI, we remembered why we're doing education and where AI fits. Episode two broadened our lens to the global and Philippine AI landscape, looking at the trends and what's been challenging us for the past months. Episode 3 focus on teachers and the integration of AI in instructional and assessment frameworks. Episode 4 place students at the center, examining how AI can nurture students' inquiry, creativity, and ethical reasoning in a very developmental, appropriate way. Episode 5 shifted to leadership and governance, highlighting how AI can strengthen institutional decision making. Episode 6, last week, explored research, evidence, and ethical use of data in shaping educational improvement with the use of AI. So, as we jump on today's episode, may I ask our audience to share the link or share the lives webinar to your colleagues, to your teacher friends, to your school communities, if they want to know more how we can turn action or policy into action. So this is episode 7, where everything converges. We want to build capacity from policy to practice. This episode focuses on the essential work of turning frameworks or turning policy guidelines into actions in our daily practices. Policies only become transformative when schools have the leadership structures, professional learning programs, and ethical guardrails that allow AI to serve the mission of education meaningfully and sustainably. Our session this afternoon has three aims. First, to translate AI policy principles into actionable, context appropriate implementation plans at different school levels or schools. Second, to identify effective capacity building strategies that empower teachers and administrators to use AI ethically, creatively, and confidently. And third, to design evaluation frameworks that measure the impact, equity, and long term sustainability of AI integration. So that's our goal for our episode 7. It's exciting. And we're going back, like in episode 1, we opened the series with an interesting and exciting panel, and we're going to do the same thing. Episode 7, we invited amazing AI. Our education leaders who have been using AI or have dipped their toes on AI, and we would like to know more about their experiences. So we are honored to have and welcome distinguished leaders with us today for this panel discussion. So let me start with a very good friend of Rex Education and a very good friend of mine. Dr. Ferdinand Pitagan is an education and technology consultant, and currently the Assistant Vice President for Academic Services at the National Teachers College. He previously served as Director 4 of DepEd Information and Technology Services and Vice Chairman of the Simeo Initech Governing Board. He has consulted for USAID, UNESCO, DepEd, CHED, and AFP and has taught or led programs at UP, Diliman, DLSU, and Philippine Science High School. A Monbosho scholar with a PhD from ICU, Tokyo, he is an award winning educator, researcher, and founder of several national and international education initiatives promoting inclusive, adaptive, and collaborative learning. Let us all welcome Dr. Ferdinand Blancaflor Pitagan. Our next panelist, hi, Doc Ferdy.
Hello, isang pinagpala at mabuhay na araw sa lahat.
All
Blessed
right, so
afternoon, everyone.
sit back and relax, Dr. Ferdy. Let's all welcome our next panelist, Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua-Valenzuela. She is the chairperson of the ASEAN AI Council and advisor on Passage to ASEAN. She served as CHED Commissioner from 2024 to 2025 and previously as ASEAN Education Advisor, where I work with her with some projects. I love working with her. And of course, being the first female director of the CIMEO Secretariat in Bangkok. Her earlier roles include senior leadership positions in CHED, CIMEO Initech, and UNESCO, where she served on multiple global education boards. She teaches at the UP College of Education and leads Pi Lambda Theta. She holds degrees from De La Salle University, PNU, and UP Diliman. Her extensive leadership and policy expertise shapes today's conversation as we close this series with episode 7. So she's also live from Malaysia, I think. So let's all welcome on the stage Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua-Valenzuela. Hi,
Hello.
Doc
Good
Ethel.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doc Ethel. And finally, it's me that you're seeing the screen. But let us all welcome Mr. John Paul M. Viernes. He is the Chief Education Supervisor of the School Governance and Operations Division, or the SGOD, of the Schools Division of Lawag City. Across his years of service from teacher to master teacher, education program supervisor, and now SGOD chief, he has championed evidence-based decision-making, collaborative leadership, and innovative programs that uplift learners, empower teachers, and strengthen school communities. Dedicated to transformative and inclusive education, he continues to lead initiatives that promote effective school management and sustainable development across all schools in Lawag City. And I think one of the things that I would love to share about JP is I've worked with him, especially because he's championing grassroots edtech initiatives, especially when he was a master teacher. So in Batak City. So I think he's very fit as well in speaking about AI in today's panel. So let us all welcome Mr. John Paul Viernes, or JP. Ayan. So we're all complete. Hello, good afternoon, JP.
Hello, Jim. Good afternoon. It's good to be back sharing the same screen with you with Rex Education.
Yes, and I remember JP has been also one of the speakers of Rex Education back when we were doing online learning. I think every
Yes,
one
it's
of you, Dr. Ethel as well, and Doc Freddy, we've done at some point our way of contributing to the education programs over at Rex Education. But my claim to fame is that I know all of these amazing education leaders right now, and I'm sure that we're gonna learn from them. So let's start. Um, let's start with a fun, maybe interesting way, and we can invite our participants over at Facebook, our audience at Facebook live. Doc Ethel, Doc for DJP, if you were to give me like one sentence or maybe a word or an image that describes how you feel about AI right now in your own context. So we have Dr. Ethel being a global advisor to many global institutions, Doc Ferdy back at a leadership in a university, and of course JP leading in basic education. given your different context, what's one image or one or word for that AI? Maybe let's start. Who wants to start? Ayan. Ayan. Maganda yung ngiti ni Doc Ferdy. So Doc Ferdy, maybe we can start with you.
I thought I'm going to say beauty first. So Ethel would start. But for me, two words, curious and cautious. So, do I need to explain?
Just a bit, Doc Ferdy.
Curious of what AI could bring into the table of the ever-evolving educational landscape, particularly in the Philippines, and also how AI could be harnessed to prepare our learners for wow, no, for the world of work. Also cautious because there are ethical, societal, legal, and even pedagogical implications on how we're going to integrate AI into education. So we have to be very cautious also. And I
Thank you, Doc
think
Ferdy. Curious and cautious. Doc Ethel, all the way from KL, Kuala Lumpur. Kumusta po?
Okay, so magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I'm very happy to join you. Of course, as a promoter of lifelong learning and SHED, Technical Working Group on Lifelong Learning, my key word for AI is upskilling. We need to upskill everyone on the use of AI in education, in business, in health, and in many aspects of life. So that's a big word, and we need number two, investment, no, because of course AI is growing bigger and bigger every day. From our projection in 2023 of $4 billion, the projection today is GDP of AI will be $20 trillion in the next 5 years. So it's a huge development, and we need to invest on capacity building and upskilling of our workforce. That's it.
All right, Doc Ethel, we're gonna go back to your pasabog data right now because that's very interesting. Upscaling and I think one of the reason why we're having this webinar series is not just for teachers but maybe looking forward as well, because AI is not just in education but even in the workforce already. Sir JP, from your perspective from leading basic education.
Yeah, from my perspective and as well as based on my observation in leading the basic education here in the grassroots, perhaps the word that would best describe is revolution. It's a revolution. It's really revolutionizing the educational landscape now. It's really transformative. I always say this to our teachers that kinokonduct namin for capability building, that if we don't really embrace and if we don't really know how to use it effectively and productively, perhaps 5 or 10 years from now, there would be more advanced than AI. Mawawala na, maiiwan yung mga teachers natin.
All right. Thank you so much. No. And JP, I think we're on the same line, no. Yung the idea of making sure na hindi maiiwan yung
Yeah.
mga teachers natin. Kasi sabi ng Doc Ethel, 23 trillion, that's a big GDP. And my goodness, I think one of our concern right now is how are we moving towards that? I think hindi naman lingid sa kaalaman ng lahat. I think all of us, every school right now, is finding a way to catch up with AI. I think everyone is doing some AI training right now in the workforce. Um, well, at least some schools are looking into literacy, especially for higher ed, teacher literacy, student literacy. In basic ed, there's an exploration for AI literacy. Now, because we're talking about guidelines, many schools have already have at least AI guidelines or, 'di ba, yung ethical considerations document nila. Some are developing, but implementation is often the challenge. I think we're starting with this because that's where we wanna start in terms of implementation. 'Di ba? Parang in my research, yung global trends natin right now, it's really more of we're done exploring. Tapos na yung 2 years of exploration. So ano na yung gagawin natin? And one of the steps in that came out in my research is kailangan clear yung AI policy guidelines and implementation. Ano po yung mga essential steps in policy to sustainability, or moving from policy or creating even your policy and then moving towards day-to-day practice in schools? So let me start with Doc Ferdy. Doc Ferdy.
What are the day-to-day practices in school? Say, for example, in the context of NTC, I think number one is we have to identify the human capital. This is the most essential part of what an AI implementation assessment is all about. We have to identify people, ensuring that there is training for them and guidance all throughout the integration. We also have to provide the necessary infrastructure for AI. Sabi nga kanina ni Dr. Ethel, we have to really invest on creating conditions that AI would be thoughtful, equitable, accessible, sustainable for student learning. At the same time, we need to have that innovative ecosystem where AI could continuously grow, continuously be proactive, at the same time encroaching on inclusivity, safety, transparency, data privacy, and human-centric. If there are some examples, one would be ensuring basic internet connectivity in schools, and there should be equitable access to devices. That was we did in NPC. And then we start small. We start piloting low-cost, free AI tools. And next, we have the building human capacity through professional learning, as well as you've said, there should be a clear policies and guidelines on how it will be integrated in the context of your corresponding institution. And lastly, we need to foster partnership across different spectrums: student, teachers, leaders, even parents, in order to successfully translate AI policy into a day-to-day practice. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc Ferdy, for covering the different areas to consider, no? Investing on infrastructure, making sure that it's equitable. In short, no, I love your word, creating the condition for AI to be integrated well. I'm gonna pick that up and maybe integrate it. Doc Ethel, from your perspective, no, as part of the or leader or lead of the AI Council for the ASEAN, ano po ba yung nakikita nyo? What are those? Are there any how do you call that, exemplars that you have seen in terms of that making real that kind of condition? Meron na po ba tayo nakita here, at least in Southeast Asia?
So first of all, I'd like to inform you that most of the countries in the region, they have already adopted some form of policies, national action plans on AI, and actually on capacity building as well. So if we take a look at the whole gamuts of AI, so we need to understand the use of AI in education, because we're here as thought leaders in education, right? So in my stint at SHED, the first thing that I asked the universities under me, 30 of them, I have PUP, I have PNU, Bicol, HEIs, those in Zamboanga, Leyte, so is to develop their own policies. Why? Because AI is everywhere. It provides smart content. So what is the policy on the use of AI in your contents? So of course, textbooks can be revised, or use modular instructions using AI. It offers personalized learning. So if AI is used in personalized learning, do we have policies on this? On assessment, AI can also assist teachers in assessment, in grading system. So how do you now figure out the percentage of the use of AI in correcting test papers of students in research. So we can see a lot of help from AI in terms of review of literature, like mostly maybe 80% of your work on the research would be on the presented by AI, and just harness all of this information. In proctoring, AI can also do proctoring. What is the policy of the university or the administration in terms of AI proctoring classes? Is that allowed? And of course, the use of chatbots, etc., in your classes. So there are so many uses of AI that we need to really have policies on. So I have visited as well some of the emerging policies in our country. So we can see LaSalle has a policy on AI. UP is one of the first to develop policy on AI. How much percentage can you use? If you take a look at working papers or proposals from universities, they may indicate there in asterisk like 50% from AI or 50% or 60% from ChatGPT. Do you have policies on this? How far can you go doing copy paste from AI generated content? So I think this is a very exciting time for us. So we need to learn from one another. We also need to take a look at the global situation on the ethical use of AI. We need to be responsible, but at the same time, we cannot just be very traditional, because now is quantum leadership. You have to do away with all of the traditional ways of managing, like top down, bottom approach, but actually in working together, interconnected in the region and even beyond. So lots of things to do, but I think we are ready and we're getting there. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Doc Ethel, and thank you for that brief description of where we are right now. I think that's very helpful in terms of maybe situating ourselves. I think there have been some AI roadmap, national roadmap. I think there were bills that were pushed already. I think it's just a matter of really putting them together, at least having that orchestrating everything together. Sabi ng Doc Ethel, no, we have to work together. So I hope that's something that could happen. I want to go to JP.
And before I forget, no, before I left CHED, I did the AI framework. So it is a circular framework that we need to deliver at the Commission Higher Education. So with 2,400 HAIs, are they ready? No. So number one in the framework is to do AI upskilling. So we plan that, different levels of competencies on AI. Maybe the first 0 level or to 1 is basic knowledge on artificial intelligence in education. So we need to retool maybe first set of 10,000 teachers or even education administrators. So the second one is, how do you embed AI in the curriculum? So it's also part of our framework that we will influence the development of modern curriculum using AI and, of course, pedagogy, AI pedagogy. The third that we want is to harmonize research, innovation, and community extension utilizing information coming from AI. And of course, we also dream of having integrity and transparency in governance through AI systems and establishing, of course, very important for me, what I'm currently doing is talking to all the member states of ASEAN on local and international partnerships. Maybe we can do hackathons together on AI for talent development in ASEAN and integrate AI in reviews, in monitoring, in evaluation, lots of things we can do. And finally, maybe a model for AI awareness and AI governance. So with all of these put in place by the Commission on Higher Education AI framework, that's my last work at CHED before leaving CHED in October. So it's already harmonizes what we will do in the next 3 years up to 2028. So capacity building, research, innovation, working together, partnership, and a model for governance of AI. So I should not forget that one, right? So thank you, Jim.
Yes, Dr. Ethel, I think that's very important and essential. I hope no that sana malabas, or at least kasi that's what a lot of universities, if I were have to converse with universities and many conferences, even basic ed, they're always asking for that specific guidance. I think, or framework. I think we're it's not at a loss, but a lot of us are looking for that. Ano ba tawag doon? That light, that that parola, parola ba ang tawag dun sa Tagalog, that would, light the way. So thank you, Dr. Ethel. JP, I remember JP and I were discussing, and one of siguro translation na, no, from policy to daily practice was JP being the S God of Lawag City. I remember the division of Lawag publishing some guidance on AI and research, especially for
Yes.
teacher research. JP,
Yeah.
could you tell us something about that? Because that was very interesting. One of the first memos that I've seen from at least local DepEd. So, JP,
Yes, we actually drafted and published guidelines specifically in the submission of basic and action research here in our division. Because what is really happening is that I am the vice chair of the research committee here in our division, and then we do, of course, nagpa-panel kami, mga ganon. And then as an AI user, really kung AI yung output. You really know kung AI yung output. And some other teachers as well. I'm not saying, I'm not really identifying mga names na kasi syempre may mga nanonood dito ngayon. But of course, what do we want is we really wanted to champion AI, artificial intelligence, the use or the integration of artificial intelligence. Na they are responsible in using the AI technology, the artificial intelligence. That's why what we did is we drafted guidelines, parang simple as declaration form of AI. So we asked them what are the prompts, what part in the action research or basic research yung AI generated, if it is for paraphrasing, stuff like that. And we only allow like at least 20% AI generated content, and that is based on, of course, benchmarks from universities or institutions. It's because, just like what I've mentioned, here in the Department of Education is still ongoing yung ating policy guidelines on the utilization of generative artificial intelligence.
thank you, JP. And just to share, no, I'm also leading the drafting, the creation. I think we're finalizing already, at least in my school at Xavier School. I lead the research committee right now, and one of my tasks is to really lead the writing of research manual. And I took the section on ethics
Yeah.
and sub-ethics on AI and research. And one of the things that we've discovered is, di naman masama gumamit ng AI. I think we just need to preserve what remains human in terms of the research skills, and where AI could help us in research. Kasi whether we like it or not especially in basic ed, wala naman po sa job description namin ang pagiging researcher. But, di ba, wala naman kaming publish or perish. Pero, because of the modernization of education, sabi nga ni Doc Ethel, we're not research writers per se, but we're taught how to use data to inform instruction and assessment. So in a way, di ba, kaunting kembot na lang research na yun. So some of us are also publishing our research writing, and yeah, medyo madugo yung when we wrote that part. I wrote the part on AI and research. But interesting, doable naman eh. Doable. I
Yeah.
think, ano
Kasi
lang,
like,
no?
ano lang, Jim, the reason why is that, of course, here in public DepEd, hindi lahat kami nakaka-afford ng premium account ng, ng say, for instance, ShotGP, something like that. So, if you use yung mga free version kasi, sometimes yung AI, nag-generate siya ng kahit ano-anong information na. And then once you cross-check that, ay hindi pala, wala palang ganun na na-publish na research. So that's the reason why we are pushing. We are pushing yung ano namin, yung initiative namin onto the declaration of AI utilization.
All
And
right,
again,
JP,
just like we mentioned, doable naman siya.
yes, I'll put a pin on that. When we will discuss about, I think, data in our next questions and using free. Alam mo naman tayo, medyo kulang ang budget. Sabi ni Doc Ethel, mag-invest tayo pero kulang ng budget. But that's one reality. So,
Oo.
I'm gonna transition towards capacity building kasi yun yung paulit-ulit na theme, at least the one where we want to start. Capacity building is central to ethical and effective AI integration. Hindi pwede, lahat ka tayo kasi nag-explore, tapos hindi pwedeng hit or miss, tira dito, tira doon yung paggamit ng AI. Tapos na sana dapat tayo sa ganun, di ba? So, what strategies should school leaders, a lot of our audience right now are school leaders as well, what should they prioritize to empower teachers and admins so that they can use AI confidently, creatively, and responsibility? I'm gonna start with from the top, siguro from the outer shell, outer circle. Doc Ethel, I know we had some private discussions about AI UNESCO. Doc Ethel is very active with UNESCO. Doc Ethel, ano kaya yung guidance ba ng UNESCO and other papers on capacity building?
Yes, the recent one that we have launched during the Digital Learning Week is the competency standards for teachers on AI. Basically, the completion of the competency standards for teachers and the competency standards for students, which is actually linked on the ethical use of AI. Now that we would like teachers to have a strong foundation on the use of AI and the ethical use of AI. So available naman yan. You can download all of these competency standards. It's actually living and working and being empowered with AI. So there are so many things that we need to understand about AI. It's not just the language models that are really available. That AI is also there for STEM education. No, this year was declared by UNESCO as the International Year for Quantum Science and Technology. And AI is really well embedded in all of these STEM classes and education. But probably we are seeing a lot of noises in our country that we failed to see the wonderful developments in AI. And we are one of the countries in ASEAN who developed the AI skills framework. Pagbalik ko from Bangkok in 2023, we launched already the AI skills framework. So meron tayong competencies, knowledge, all of these sets are available already. Parang periodic table of elements on artificial intelligence. So how do we make use of this skills framework? Because education is linked to employability. If AI is treated as separate and it's not related to employability and skills development, then it will be a problem. So guided by UNESCO, the competency framework for students and teachers on the ethical use of AI and the responsible use of AI, I think we are in a good situation now because they're all prepared by experts, so we can adapt them or we can actually review them. There are many resources available for all of us. So before I left Ched, I was able to discuss with bigger groups from the business and industries, like developing micro credentials on AI. There are millions of AI micro credentials that you can take. Some of them are for free. If you want to have lessons or have better understanding of AI for free, there are courses available, micro credentials. But if you want to buy and get a degree or a certificate, then you have to pay a bit, like less than $100. So I encourage teachers to take a look at the competency standards and framework and also have short enrollment, micro courses, micro credentials on AI. So it's very exciting, but at the same time, cannot do away with it, no? Because business industries, healthcare, business groups, banking and finance, they all transitioned with AI. And we as teachers, we need to also learn a lot on this. So I think it's an exciting time, but a lot of challenges on investing for the future of education with AI.
Thanks, Doc Ethel. And I think what is clear is that there are a lot of resources. Kaunting research lang, finding those resources for ourselves. Medyo ganun dapat, no? I think kung titingnan kasi natin, our teachers, wag na kayong maghintay. Kasi nandun pa rin tayo, naghihintay tayo from our schools kung anong ibibigay ng training. But right now, I think nandyan na marami na. It's really out there. Doc Ferdy, since you are also involved with future teachers development or education, kumusta po from not just in your school but maybe because your network as well. Kumusta yung training natin ng current teachers and future teachers with AI? Where are we right now?
Oo. I think it's no longer a question whether we should train our educators as well as our leaders or the whole educational stakeholders in AI. It is a matter of how effectively and efficiently that integration of AI into classroom activities, assessment, pedagogy, curriculum, and the whole, I like the word, the whole gamut of educational, Ma'am Ethel, gamit. The whole gamut of educational policies, practices, processes, even in personnel. I also love the discussion of Ma'am Ethel in micro-credentialing. And if I may say, I'm using your micro-credential discussion in UPTV every time we would have the discussion as an on-board resource. So how do we now train our students to all our stakeholders? I think there should be as a mandatory training across the educational spectrum, especially for teachers. Administrators need to require teachers to train in AI. As mentioned by Paul, in DepEd, they are required to do action research. And that action research is part of their rating, di ba, Paul? So, that training, mandatory training, should include not only the technologies, not only the curriculum redesign, but as well as security protocols, data requirements, operational logistics, so that our stakeholders would have that overview of what an AI is. And of course, there should be a priority in pedagogical integration. Teachers would need to be trained on if it's a low-cost AI, but there should be a high-impact, high-value teaching because of that corresponding AI platform. There could also be, as Ma'am Ethel said, there could be PLCs, what is PLC? Professional learning communities, and as well as, yes, as well as that support for that pedagogical integration. And of course, yung fostering ethical and responsible use, data privacy, as well as including the AI bias and the equity awareness, as well as accountability of the students, as well as the teachers, and the oversight framework. As John Paul have mentioned, I need to cite what particular part of my research is based on AI, what would be the acceptable percentage of that corresponding report, etc., etc. And I think this is equally important as school leaders. We need to lead by examples. As principals, as master teachers, administrators, we play a very crucial role in modeling how are we going to use AI responsibly. So we need to model with a clear vision, policy, as well as resource allocation, as well as continuous feedback by leading examples on how AI could be integrated into the school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc Ferdy. And I love that you went through at least strategies like PLCs, trainings for teachers. I remember at least in our school when we started, I led the initial exploration. Tas yung mga topics namin nung una, what is prompt engineering, and then we decided to have a training specific for school leaders with prompt engineering, teachers and prompt engineering. And when I converse with our high school edtech coordinator right now, they're teaching as well high school students with prompt engineering, but within the context of acceptable use of AI. So I think that kind of differentiation really matters as well. A lot of trainings on ethics. Babalikan natin yung mga libreng AI na yan at kung mga pinaggagawa ng mga teachers. I remember when we conducted, Rex Education and I conducted, we just published this one. Kanina sinasabi, it's a comprehensive K to school framework. It's whole school, like every area. Like Doc Ferdy mentioned about processes. So may guidelines na pinublish kami ng Rex and MAPSA, the Manila Archdiocesan Parochial School System. So meron na silang AI na comprehensive. When we did a training, sineparate yung teaching, yung governance, yung school leaders, ang pinakapasaway sa data privacy ay mga teachers. Ang non-teaching registrar's guidance, gets nila yung data, no? Gets na, kasi part ng work nila. Pero ang mga teachers natin, medyo, medyo inamin at sila yung pinakapasaway in terms of that. Because, they don't know that much. So training is important. JP, on your levels, baba tayo sa near our teachers.
Yeah.
Kumusta yung mga strategies or at least how has your local DepEd office extended trainings to your teachers?
As regards training our teachers on the utilization of generative AI, we already started even like 2 years ago. It's because, of course, I'm involved in the drafting of the policy guidelines and the integration of generative AI into the teaching and learning process. So, tinake advantage ko na siya noon. I already started training our teachers. Nakakatawa nga because during the first first days, yung mga onset days pa, it's when I asked them kung sinong gumagamit ng AI, hindi sila nagtataas ng kamay, tapos nahihiya sila. It's because I mean that's the obvious reaction noong bagong-bago pa ang AI. But now continues continuous yung training. If it is funded by the Department of Education, may nagda-download na fund coming from the central office. We are creating or we are developing learning and development, since yung office na hinihandle ko is also human resource development. And just lately this year, there are topics on integration or utilization of artificial intelligence sa inset naman, which happens like I think noong and I think nung November or October po siya nagawa. And just lately here in our division, trinain naman namin yung mga non-teaching namin. So what we did is when we had this learning needs ng ating mga non-teaching, ang pinakamataas na kailangan nila, it's yung working with less supervision and office productivity. So what we did, it's we crafted or we developed a training program specifically on addressing those needs na na-identify sa gaps or needs assessment ng aming mga non-teaching. So what we did, it's a training workshop in enhancing work independence and productivity with the use of artificial intelligence. Kasi nga na-address naman niya both of the needs. So basically, it's how you craft and be creative. Be creative in developing yung mga learning and development na mga programs natin dito. Kasi nga, here in our bureaucracy namin sa Department of Education, DepEd is giving us the liberty naman to craft or develop or implement programs to address the needs of our teachers and non-teaching as well.
John Paul, if my add, there's a new office under DepEd. It's the e-care, which is the Office for Research in Artificial Intelligence. Yeah.
And just to add, since I think it's important as well to partner with higher education institutions. At Tagpros Education, the nonprofit organization that I founded, we've created an AI. It's called Gab AI, and JP knows that as
Yeah.
well. It's
Yes.
it's it's aligned to the local context
Mm-mm.
now. It's very interesting because PNU has picked up a partnership, and we're doing research, and we've and a big company has actually funded around 40 schools in Metro Manila to use
Wow.
Gabay for free, and we partnered with PNU. They're now we're on the mid research, I think,
It's a
already. We're
research.
focusing more on effectivity, efficiency, and it's very interesting because there is a big clamor actually, not just for training, but it's really more of the usage, because a lot of the AI that we've seen right now, they're not fully contextualized. I think that's the
Yeah.
beauty of what we did, to contextualize. And interestingly, I want to pick your idea as well. For future teachers, maybe Doc Ethel and Doc Ferdy. It's off the script, but I was inspired by what you've mentioned. Our tool Gabay has was picked up by both PNU School of Education and Bulacan State University, College of Edu. So their fourth year students will go to field study, on the job training, armed with AI already. Ang
Wow.
ganda, no, na hindi nila hinihintay yung AI
Yes.
pagka-graduate, but they're integrating. What are your thoughts about that? That really putting in AI, it's not something that you will use when you step out of the school, but really in the school. Doc Ethel, are there any concrete examples already that we've seen, at least in the school, in the Philippines?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to, medyo I'm happy that we are discussing this one now because I think all teachers need AI literacy or digital literacy kasi we have been using AI for a long time. Matagal na naman yung artificial intelligence. Like when I wake up in the morning, I will ask, Alexa, what's the weather today? Alexa, where is the traffic? Alexa, can you play the songs of the 70s? Alexa is part of my life every day. When I wake up, I have Alexa and it's AI. And it can also control the sound. It can also control everything and maybe my life. But so what about navigation? We use all of these ways, we use everything, Google. We Google everything, and all of these are AI. And even Netflix will tell you what you will watch. These are all generated. There's sub-content that tells you what you should watch based on your behavior, based on your choices. So preferences, everything, even Amazon, when you want to order book, it will also tell you what you should order based on your previous orders. So I think we need AI literacy, and they think it's new. No, in 2022, what came out was the Open AI on the generative AI, GAI, the Chat GPT that already gives you everything. So a week ago, I was really thinking about having a new course. So I said, ChatGPT, please develop my syllabus on financial management in education. It will take me 3 days to 1 week to write my syllabus for UP, right? Doc Ferdy. But AI gave me in just
Opo.
1 minute. In 1 minute, with scores, this is how you will check the student scores, the objectives, all the lessons prepared for one semester. And mind you, with a course guide of UP and everything. So I said, oh my God, this makes my life easier. So the lesson here, Sir Francis, is actually on AI literacy. That they're thinking it's new, they're thinking it's difficult, but we have to live with AI. It supports teachers, no, make things easier for grading, for writing syllabus, for everything. It's empowering for them. The load is lighter. So we just need them to understand how they can use AI, AI literacy, and to have personalized learning and content for students. No, AI can tell you what the students are missing in your lesson, and so on and so forth. It will not replace us, don't worry, teachers. But I think for those who are listening, we will not be replaced. But what we can do is actually to live with AI because we are being empowered, we're being assisted. Our load is lighter. Imagine. And even the test papers of 30 students, AI can help you. So all we need to do is maximize this. But I'm saying that AI is changing fast. Now, maybe I'm talking about the developments where a lot of students are into AI classes or AI courses, and it's increasing day by day. Universities now are offering specialization on AI, machine and learning specialists, etc. So let's keep it alive. Let's learn. Let's be literate. So the key word is lifelong learning for everyone. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of AI. And because it is your partner, you'll be the one to manage AI the way you wanted it. So it's just, a reflection from all the discussions. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc Ethel. Doc Ferdy, how about you? Kasi parang I'm coming from in my idea right now, JP is coming from division, no? So professional leadership. Doc Ethel, nandun kasi siya sa lifelong learning, yung professional teachers na. And one of the things that are coming out right now is yung mga medyo there are reservations about AI. Our students who are not yet professional, right? So, Doc Ferdy, what are your thoughts about, yun, di ba? Kasi ganito, bakit tayong mga professionals ba pwedeng mag-AI? I mean like, pero yung mga students natin, ang daming guardrails, ang daming mga policies. How do we balance the messaging of, we want our lives to be more efficient, so yun nga, lighten the. But there are also research na nagsasabing, careful, shortcut sa learning, yung critical thinking, di ba, merong MIT study. So, how do we, understand that kind of tension or maybe balance? Kasi professional settings, di ba, Sir JP and Doc Ferdy, paano naman po sa inyo sa college, Doc Ferdy?
Before amen, amen, and amen sa lahat ng sinabi ni Doc Ethel, no? Say for example, I take the example of the National Teachers College. This year, we began the integration of micro-credential. This is a deliberate integration into the curriculum across all our programs, teacher education, business, SOCJ, which is our criminal justice courses, etc., etc. And those micro-credentials are powered by AI. We also put out an AI policy on what our students could do without AI, what they could do with permission, and what they could do freely across all their corresponding lesson submissions. Also, we ask all our leaders to be trained in AI and identify business processes that would need AI integration that is empirical. And also, say for example, in our Google Classroom, remember that Notebook LM? This is branding,
Yeah.
Jim, I'm sorry. Hindi gabay. But Notebook LM is now integrated into the Google Workspace. And we are, in our MIP or the micro-credential program, we have created a chatbot using Notebook LM. So, and most of our students are now being exposed, especially those who would go into the field, because as Dr. Ethel have said, AI has permeated every corner of our lives, including employment, including the why, how are we going to do our work. So they need to be exposed, but at the same time, the guardrails, I think, are very necessary at this point, especially for our students, because remember, these are, student teachers, but the end point of those guardrails is as they progress in the utilization of AI, they would be more cautious of how AI is integrated into everything that they would do, and they would have their own personal guardrails. Hanggang dito lang ako. Ito lang yung pwede. This is the acceptable. Kasi, well, tama naman yung sinabi ni Ma'am. There are a lot of issues in terms of AI. Say, for example, cyberbullying, digital divide, di ba? Internet addiction. Di ba? Those are all permeated by artificial intelligence. So I think there should be a balance on innovation as well as on safeguarding the well-being of our students in terms of AI.
Thanks, Doc, for the. I'm gonna try to throw as well the question to Sir JP. We're both working in basic ed, and very interesting kasi ang number one rule ata na lumalabas in terms of AI policy guidelines is there should be no blanket rule,
Yeah.
especially with the developmental appropriateness of
Mhm.
AI. You know,
Differentiated learning.
yes. In terms, what have you observed about, iba din kasi pag basic ed eh. I
Yeah.
remember when we were writing the policy guidelines, they really made it explicit for primary grades. No use of Gen AI for students. If you cannot perform the skills on your own without AI, then you should not be using AI. Parang calculator, no? Parang
Yeah.
ganon. But they have open to learning about AI. So it's
AI.
an object to be learned. Kumusta in terms of depth ed? How are we with that with that kind of progression, JP?
Well, to tell you honestly, it's still hanging. Because we are hoping and we are waiting for that policy guidelines on the utilization or integration of generative AI into the teaching and learning process. However, yes, hindi na natin andyan na yung Gen AI, and our learners are really using and teachers are really using AI. I have this example, one teacher here in our division, nagrereklamo. It's because ang gagaling daw ng mga output nila sa essay. Ang gagaling daw ng mga output nila sa essay. I remember when I conducted one LAC session here in our division na hindi niya, that's her reason why hindi na siya nagpagawa ng essay ever, nagpa-assignment ng essay ever sa kanyang mga estudyante or output kung merong mang internet. So what I did is what I did, I guided her, and I believe a leader should guide yung ating as an instructional leader. I believe we should guide our teachers, like say for instance, ano dapat ang ginawa mo, like you can ask your learners to write an essay na pwedeng kahit traditional pen and paper. You ask him to encode that using his laptop or computer, and you can ask AI to check the grammar or improve, and then i-print niya, and then you validate it as a teacher. Eh di mas magaan yung buhay mo. So yung teacher, nag-smile siya na I made her realize that hindi kalaban ng AI. I totally believe yung sinabi ni Doc Ethel kaninang, it's here to help us, not to replace us. So as of the moment, since just like what I've mentioned, we are still waiting for the policy guidelines on the utilization of Gen AI. Parang creativity na muna ng mga teachers, mga instructional leaders, how to guide them, but and as well as just like what I've mentioned a while ago, us here in the DepEd, here most especially since I'm in the division office, they have given us the liberty as well to implement programs based on our own context.
Thanks, JP. And I remember, no, sana, no, JP and I work on the policy guidelines, sana, ano, malabas na. Anyway, I don't know where it is, but it's something that we look into. For our audience right now, we are on the last stretch, at least for the panel discussion. So if you have questions, yan, shout out sa mga student ni Doc Ferdy. May nag-shout out Doc Ferdy, my student kaata dito, mga students. So if they have questions, if you have questions, let us know. Siguro one more. I think it's very interesting yung assessment. Nag-off script na tayo kasi ang ganda naman discussion natin. Yung assessment redesign. Kasi parang sobrang ano no, sobrang polarizing din kasi yung I mean, we understand noon mga teachers na yung reaction, ay AI lang naman yung ginagamit ng mga bata, so I won't use this. Magandang reaction kasi yun natural yung minention ni JP. But if you were to advise in terms of assessment redesign, how is AI pushing us to reassess the way we do assessment and redesign the way we do assessment. I'll start from Doc Ethel para general perspective. Global, Doc Ethel.
Okay, I tell you very honestly, I had an experience, a state university gave me 30 students on PhD. It's a lot of work for me to check on all the outputs, right? So I use AI check, okay, copy paste, use these tools. And I generated in one, maybe not even 10 minutes, all of the checked, assess papers. So imagine that. It will take me maybe 7 days or 10 days to check all the assignments. But this is the thing, though it assisted me in checking, I saw that the scores given by AI, the scores are much, much lower than if I will rate it.
Yeah.
So I said, how come? So I take a look, okay, the grammar, the content, all of these corrections, they're all read by AI. So
Mm-mm.
not typically my way of assessment. So I think assessment can be changed by AI because practically they can give you more honest score. So if you will use well AI in checking the outputs of the students, you can combine it. Now students can really generate anything, copy paste from AI. You can detect it, Turnitin and other tools. But teachers can add more, no active reflection. So these are the things
Mm-mm.
AI will not will be having difficulty when you reflect some parts of your outputs in a test on a personal scale. So I think AI can do a lot in revising or in maybe, what I found out in citation, in references of AI, they have a lot of mistakes, right? That's why we're here. We are superior than AI. We're not artificial. We're the real intelligence. So I said, how come AI generated all of these references and they're not useful or don't even exist? So
Yeah.
in research and in analysis, I think we need to use our human power, our human brains that, AI can suggest, but you have to verify. You have to verify. This is
Yeah.
the thing, no, that humans can do, that AI will just put based on the large data that they have, they will put them all together and give you this. But said, no, we have our own intellect to say that these are wrong. There is nothing like this. So that's why assessment is so exciting. I tried it, but if I will use AI checking of the test papers of my PhD students, they will all fail. They have no emotions. They have no
Yeah.
consideration that this student is this and that. This student is IP. This student is marginalized. Nothing like that. So I still believe that our way as a teacher is to really balance everything, no, combining your expertise and your own minds in finalizing the output, especially in assessment. So that's my sharing. It's real. I did it.
Yeah. Doc Ethel, I would share as well. Ano ba, I'm teaching senior high school online in Abra. Tapos nagmamadali ako sa grades kasi nandiyan na yung grades, nakakahiya, di ba? Grabe, by the way, disclaimer, I'm using a paid AI, so I have the setting to keep all my data private. Just disclaimer, baka makot tayo dito. But yeah, grabe, I uploaded papers, no? Sabi ko, sobrang tama, Doc Ethel, no? Walang puso yung AI sa pag-grade at walang nuancing. I think that's what I miss. Kasi critical reflection essay. So, it's critical. So, there's a level of objectivity. But at the same time, you expect them to have that kind of application in their lives, no? I think this was MIL or ICT in senior high school. Grabe, walang puso talaga kasi walang nuancing. Walang nuancing, different kinds of context not really there unless sobrang galing mo mag-prompt. Pero yung prompt mo siguro isang page din ng paper. But yeah, I would agree with Doc Ethel. Doc Ferdy, on your side, siguro sa higher ed, how has AI affected assessment redesign?
Assessment. Nako. I don't know whether I can say this, but for this semester, we tap the expertise of AI for the departmental examination. So we have a test bank, and then we are trying to create an adaptive, individualized exam for each of our students in an online setting. So it's still very, very experimental, but we hope that it could be done in the coming semesters. In terms of grading, I ascribe to your observation and that of Dr. Ethels na kasi I also teach research. So wala talagang puso, tabi mo nga, Jim. But at the same time, it offers that that objectivity na sometimes teachers would lack. Kasi we are human no? Especially if we know the context and background of our students. Maybe 50% of the grade would be from awa. Di ba, no, ma'am? From awa, from consideration, etc., etc. But this one, so we have to combine that because the presence of AI would really, really help us. But at the same time, as humans, we have the last say on how are we going to use even the prompts, even the answers to our prompts, even the score in assessment. AI will make our lives easier as teachers, but it should not be the final call in all the lesson activities and assessment.
Thanks, Doc,
Thank
for
you.
the JP, any guidance that you have given to your teachers, at least in your division, in terms of, yun nga, di ba, yung experience na ayaw na niya magpa-essay, di ba,
Yeah.
magpa-essay.
Yeah, I mean, there is just one example. Well, like when we conduct a LAC session or inset or at least capability building, we see to it that meron silang output like a lesson exemplar, like say how to use it properly or how to use AI in this subject, or in this part of the lesson in assessment, something like that. Another one is as to assessment, as to assessment, alam naman natin ngayon ang problema dito sa Department of Education is that palagi yung suspension ng mga classes, right? Ang dami, 'di ba? Um, buti pa nung time natin, Jim, like or tayo, kahit signal number 2 or signal number 3 pumapasok pa rin tayo. But now, kasi nga, of course, we are protecting our learners. Ang daming suspension of classes, which I believe if we can use AI properly, AI will play a vital role in assessment and in amplifying independent learning. Kasi say for instance, naka-ADM o alternative delivery mode yung ating mga learners, of course AI can assess or can check, can provide feedback to the output of the learners kasi wala na si teacher doon. Now, as a teacher, if I wanted to check if merong progress or na-develop yung sinet ko na competency, I can certainly administer a summative assessment once they get back sa aking sa aking classes, something like that. So, it is something na yung sinabi mo kasi na we can provide here in here in DepEd a blanket guidelines kasi nga we have a different contexts, and yung talagang provision of assistance is tailored doon sa context ng say division here in Lawag City.
Thanks, JP. If I may share, no, well, on at least on our side, from the K to 12 perspective, we're emphasizing that no, output is important, but the process is as important as the output. Lalo na ngayon, no, ang gagaling ng mga batang to really find their way into this, para kaming Tom and Jerry, para tayong Tom and Jerry sa mga bata. Yung makakatch mo na sila pero maghanap na pa rin sila ng ibang butas. I think, and I don't know, I remember, no, JP, Doc Ferdinand, and Doc Ethel, during the online learning, problema na natin to yung assessment. Pero bakit ito pa rin yung problem natin? I think the beauty of AI right now is sana ma-push na tayo sa mga totoong, redesigned assessment. We're looking at performance, it's not just output. We're looking at output plus the process. Kasi nandun yung essential skills. The essential skills are not in the output but in the process. I think yun yung kailangan ma-recognize ng mga students natin, in terms of easy way out. It can help us, but if you sacrifice the process part, yung learning is not there. I remember there's a study from Microsoft this 2025 co-pilot. And Doc Ethel and Doc Ferdy, baka something exciting sa inyo. That the industries are hiring less and lesser graduate, not because AI has taken over, but because these industries are expecting graduates to be better,
Oo.
not to replicate what AI can do, but to
Oo.
do what AI to do more than what AI can do. Interesting, no, from Microsoft study yun in terms of employment and graduates natin.
Oo. And Jim, if I may add, the reconfiguration of assessment lies within the educational leaders. Di ba, Ma'am Ethel, no? The way how we view assessment, right now, assessments are scores, assessment are test scores, quizzes, etc., etc. That Microsoft research, I think, highlight the importance of communication as the primary skill for hiring. So I think these are the things that we really need to push as part of the educational reform. Thank you.
Thank you.
My dear panelists, I would like to remind you that, they say that for human beings like us, we're only productive 3 to 4 hours a day. Please note that. That's why some of my friends are saying that I'd rather hire and buy AI for good because they can do everything without complaining. They can do all the letters, they can draft everything without, saying that I'm tired, I need well-being, I need mental health break, etc., etc. So actually, this is something that the business sectors are considering, that we need to complement because 24/7 available yung AI. They can do everything. They don't ask for break. They can do the work much faster than us. So I think this is something new and we're configuring everything. That's why we need AI literacy. So DepEd should fund more capacity building programs for AI literacy and the use of AI responsibly, and even CHED and TESDA. So we talked about this in a convergent summit of DepEd, CHED, TESDA, and we would like to offer more micro credentials on artificial intelligence. So I think with that, but it's different. It's different when we warm bodies are doing the training, right, than micro credentials altogether. So I think we need to combine both micro credentials plus summit of teachers on AI literacy. So I am really looking forward that we can do this in the Philippines as well as in other countries in ASEAN. Yeah.
Thank you. And last question, I think would look into oversight mechanisms and monitoring leading to sustainability. I think that's one thing, no. We've done. I think the beauty here is that we want the policy to be converted as well to literacy, and that literacy to be applied in daily practices as well, or in our daily practices. The question right now is how do we sustain it? Monitoring, evaluating, looking at things, but in the grand scheme of things, what are your thoughts about sustaining AI? What would sustain AI integration? Not just integration, maybe the whole school or maybe the whole network. Kasi mahal po, di ba? Mahal ang AI. Actually, that's one major concern that we have for teachers. Mahal kasi ang magagandang AI. We have the generalist AI, yung ganito, ganyan. Tapos ang dami kasing issue. That data privacy and everything. And then, yun nga, what are your thoughts? What can you offer our school leaders and educators in terms of sustaining the AI programs? Sino ang gusto magsimula?
Well,
Ayan,
for me, I think this is
Dr.
not just
Doc,
this is not just the future. This already happening. So that's why I think we need to act faster, no, for teachers. Especially we are the one leading the learners for the 21st century and for the future. So it's not the future that we're preparing, it's now. And we see the rapid progress of AI in everything, almost in everything. And what concerns us is that AI can grow uncontrollably. That's why UNESCO is saying. So there are more new things happening. Maybe tomorrow or later this evening there'll be something new, and AI may overtake a lot of jobs and things that we cannot even think of. So it's important for us to look at the ethics and morality in the use of AI. We just continue to do policies that are relevant, not really controlling the use of AI, but looking at ethics and morality on the use of AI. So we have a lot of homework to do on policies. We also have a lot of homework to do on capacity building. And we can only achieve a lot if we partner with industries, with those who are in business, everybody around. So we help solve the problem together on it's not invasion of AI, but actually the fast development and growth of AI in every aspect of life.
Si Doc Ethel, ang image kasi nila ay Terminator, invasion of AI.
Eh, eh, eh,
Um,
Jim, may I ask Ma'am Ethel, Ma'am, that essentialist question about artificial intelligence, aka Terminator, what's your view on that? That AI somehow will take over the humankind? Ako talaga yung nagtanong eh. No?
Hindi kasi nga, I don't want to say this, but
Hmm.
well, I'm in the UN summit now, and we're thinking about
Hmm.
the future, and we are all here gathered from New York, Costa Rica, everywhere. So we're saying that there will come a time that there will be super AI. That's what we are
Hmm.
afraid of. Super AI
Hmm.
can actually do everything. This is
Hmm.
what we call as AI singularity. They may
Hmm.
dominate everything. Like
Hmm.
some of my friends in Bangkok, they're saying, I don't need anymore an assistant, a secretary. Everything can be
Hmm.
done by AI.
Hmm.
It saves a
yeah.
lot of money. So, I mean, if this is the thinking of everyone, including the business and industries, we
Hmm.
have a problem. No, that's why for me it's important that we single out where AI cannot penetrate,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
we cannot be replaced. We cannot be
Yeah.
replaced in some aspect, and we focus on those skills and competencies that AI cannot do. AI can only do something that is fed on them, but there are
Hmm.
things that we humans can do that they cannot do, and we need to focus on those skills that cannot be, done by AI. So, my dear friends who are listening, I think it's actually high time for us to prepare for disruption of AI, and there are skills that we need to focus on that is less competition with AI. so
Hmm.
so we can coexist. We should not be
Hmm.
terminated. We can coexist.
I just
Oo
remember,
nga.
The last Mission Impossible. It's a
Oo.
rogue AI.
Oo.
Yung kalaban. But interesting because I think they understood
Hmm.
the fear that we have, and they told it in a way that would challenge us. That's what I
Hmm.
get. Hindi naman ako natakot. Nawawa ako kasi pwedeng ganun yung mangyari. But yeah, I think it's important what Dr. Ferdy. I remember, no, I was in a conference with Catholic school leaders, may mga pare, and one of the priests actually said, if you don't input good things in AI, talagang
Hmm.
masama yung pass kasi input-output yan.
Hmm.
So, to do your share, then start filling the whole internet with good things kasi yan yung ilalabas. So, di ba, garbage in, garbage out. So, if it's
Oo.
gold in, gold out, then I think. So, that was a good reminder about
Hmm.
where AI is getting information
Hmm.
and what we can do about it.
Hmm.
Ikaw naman, Doc Ferdy.
Well, I think any technological innovation across the human history has also always the potential to overtake the human race. Say, for example, during the AVP, the audio-visual presentation, it will take over the teachers because it's standardized content, it's very, very objective, etc., etc. And then computers come along. Computers would replace teachers because it could do very well those teaching processes and practices. And now AI. Ah, as I mentioned, I think we have to be very cautious. Right now, several countries are already banned the use of cell phone inside the classroom. Hungary, Germany, and then even the godfather of AI, who recently had the Nobel laureate, has also prompted humankind to think of that singularity. So I think in order for AI to be sustainable, to align with the mission vision of the educational system, I think there should be a comprehensive human-centered framework that no matter the amount of technology, no matter the amount of AI and its capability, it should be anchored on human centeredness. I think
Yeah.
I think what we you have that human inquiry, and then you have AI, but the end of that would be the human judgment, as Ma'am Ethel have said earlier.
Yeah.
It would be up to the human counterpart to judge whether this information, this test scores, this pedagogical realignment is acceptable or not. So I think in order for, but in terms of cost, in terms of the financial consideration, I think there, including that of the computerization program and everything else about technological innovation, this is not merely an institutional undertaking,
Yeah.
but a national
Yeah.
undertaking, a national agenda that we
Yeah.
all need to help one another, private, local, international, in order
Yeah.
for everyone to have that equitable access to artificial intelligence, not just a single entity or a
Yeah.
single
So,
institution.
yeah, Doc Ferdy, I love that because I'm gonna give the last maybe the before we go on to our open forum or pick questions from the comment section. No, JP and I have been working, I think, back 2017 on EdTech grassroots programs. And one of the main concerns that we had, no, pareho kaming Ilocano, is really how yung accessibility. Kasi taga North Luzon kami and we know that our problem is actually access, no? JP, kumusta? How will this? Kasi walang AI kung walang internet. Walang
Yeah.
internet kung walang computer or devices, right?
Yeah, oo. I used to teach sa bundok kasi. Sa bundok wherein like we have no internet connection, we have limited resources, but still with the help of my colleagues, my friends ko sa EdTech, we're able to at least help them innovate doon sa bundok. But now I am working here in one of the city divisions here in Ilocos Norte, here in Lawag City. It's still since it's a it's province, not all of our school have access to a good internet connection. Syempre sinabi just like what I've mentioned na kailangan din ng magandang internet connection for us to have an access sa AI. So, what I'm always saying them, most especially kapag mga professional development, it's wag na nilang hintayin ang Department of Education na mag-conduct ng mga trainings because there are a lot of professional development or information littered over the internet na that they can access para kasi nga I was watching a video I think last night about mga teachers knows and very fascinated about AI or Gen AI, but most of them are using Chat GPT as glorified search engine.
Yeah.
Oo,
Yun
parang
daw kasi.
Google, glorified Google lang siya, mga ganon. Glorified Google lang siya. So, if they really wanted to embrace, because sabi ni Doc Ethel kanina, it's really now. If we are not going to embrace, if we're not going to accept and use it appropriately, yung artificial intelligence, sooner or later, to be more advanced na darating dito sa, most especially here in our educational landscape here in the Philippines.
Thanks, JP. For our audience right now, please feel free to throw your questions to our panelists via the comment section. I'm just gonna go through some of the insights while our panelists rest after an hour or so of discussion. Teacher Darius says, in my study, I created and proposed a policy on proper integration of Gen AI intelligence or Gen AI on writing competency of students. Oh, wow. So may mga ganun na tayo mga exploration, no? For future researchers, um, they may examine the potential risk of over-reliance on Gen AI, such as increased plagiarism and reduced student autonomy in learning. They may also explore the long-term effects of Gen AI in writing instructions, particularly its impact on creativity, critical thinking, and independent writing skills. That's very interesting. Although, yun nga eh, I think what we have right now are preliminary data on effects of AI. Because if you really want to see effects on thinking, kailangan generational yan, no? Or at least, a longitudinal study. But I think we have preliminary data, the research by MIT and everything. A caution lang, because those are not full generalization, especially because we're still adapting. Wala pa namang ano, no. There's one question here for the panel. Ay, very interesting because I think this is in line with what we've been discussing. What should remain AI? What should remain human in the time of AI? Oh, very existentialist as well. Siguro natakot na sila sa Terminator. What human skill should remain human and not to be done by AI? Siguro. Ayan. Doc Ethel, kasi tinakot natin sila sa Terminator. Baka gusto niyo simulan.
Hindi naman, because there are creative industries. There are also things that AI cannot do. They cannot be more creative because they have only all of this information with them. Although I should warn you that there are already existing challenges on creative outputs that AI can generate a lot of beautiful things, including painting, everything that you want. It also can generate, but humans must determine if this is created by AI or human being. So in aspect of creativity, we are still more in this regard than AI. That's why we need to emphasize, when there are assessment or when there are competition, that creativity and innovation would be the priority. So AI cannot innovate a lot of things, but the humans feeding AI can. Okay, do this, do that. You just crack all of these codes and AI can do that. So if we are not feeding all of these things, then there's nothing. So, but then for educators, we must learn about AI basically because the future is intertwined with AI technologies. So
Yeah.
the jobs, everything, it's with AI technologies. And that's why AI literacy is very important. So let's look for all the options that AI cannot do, and that is where we should be really good at. It includes more creativity, more innovation, everything that AI cannot do, and continue working on these things so that we will not be replaced by AI.
Thank you, Doc Ethel. If I may add, no, our audience can look into it, our panelists can look into, there's already a prediction, nagmamakaawa na po sila na create original human output on the internet. Because aabot na po ang dami ng AI output at human output. If everything becomes AI output, mawawalan siya. Yun yung sinasabi ni Doc Ethel kasi nagbe-base lang siya sa human output. If we keep on letting AI output lang yung nandun sa internet, 'di ba? Kasi ngayon yung nangyayari, 'di ba? Dumadami yung AI output. But if we leave behind the human output creativity, wala ring wala nang magandang idea na makukuha ng AI. Remember kasi they're using AI, a human output. So yun nga, heads up lang. Meron ng prediction na mas dumadami ang AI output kaysa sa human output, which will lead to, I don't know, wala na. Nagiging circular na lang daw siya. The loss of amazing ideas kasi everyone will have common ideas. I think maganda yun, di ba, ngayon, if you want to stand out right now, don't use ideas from AI. Come up with what's yours. I think kasi if you want to stand out, don't do what other people are doing. That's ingenuity as well.
But
Doctor,
I would
ay,
like to inform you, in one of the sessions I did for Region 5, akala nila hindi na kaya ng AI pag Bicolano language ang output. Surprisingly, I asked them, okay, open your chat GPT and type something that, that AI cannot answer or something. No, they cannot answer in Bicolano. Surprisingly, AI, chat GPT gave all the answers in Ilocano. They're correct.
yeah.
Is
They're
there any,
better.
they're already augmenting everything. So if we keep on feeding AI in different languages, they will also answer you. They can also have that. So let us be a partner in this regard that, our productivity, our human skills will be augmented by AI, but we will never be replaced by AI, I think. The jobs may be enhanced, but let's pray that super AI will not replace us.
JP, what should remain human in this time of AI era?
Um, Jim, this may sounds cliche, pero I believe empathy. Empathy. Yun yung sinasabi natin. Yes, empathy. And this will prove that AI AI will not replace teacher. Kasi nga, although AI can provide almost everything, almost anything you wanted to ask, pero he cannot provide, or the AI cannot provide the heart of the teacher, the passion of the teacher, the empathy of a good teacher. So,
Thanks.
which is DepEd, I believe madaming mga DepEd teachers na nanonood ngayon, and which nakaka-relate sila. Confident ang mga teachers na we will not be replaced by AI. Kasi walang empathy ang AI.
JP, last sem break I was in depth at Olongapo, and when we were discussing the training before that, I told them, okay, so meron tayong training pero isasama ko na yung AI kasi ang tagal niyan pag halimbawa yung innovation design. Ang tagal kasi 'pag sila-sila lang kasi siyempre ang sakit sa ulo 'yun, 'di ba? Innovation and research. Sabi ko, I'm gonna include may pre-lesson ako on AI para mas madali yung buhay namin kasi 'di ba sa training hindi umaabot sa presentation and feedback giving kasi lahat busy or hirap. So, I think that's good, no? That kind of training that already assumes the reality that AI is there. Yeah.
That's right.
Doc Ferdy, what must remain human? Miss Universe
Miss
question.
Universe question to, no? Well, I agree with Ma'am Ethel and with JP. It should be the human touch, no? Especially if you are in the field of education. Our consciousness, di ba? Our empathy, our self-awareness, our emotions, our feelings, di ba? Even our morality, even our biases, di ba? This could not, although merong AI as a hallucination, and of course our intuition and creativity. So I don't think in the near future this could be replicated by AI. That's why time and again, whatever we do, especially in guidelines, policies, and even in our laws, it should be centered on human. It should be human centric to make sure that AI or the utilization of AI would be in the confines of human to you, still human to human connection. Because I firmly believe that AI is a tool, it is a platform. But what is more important is that human to human connection, especially if you are in the field of education.
Yeah, and I love that we emphasize those things because in the end baka sila din yung mag-save sa atin as human beings. I think that those qualities, and even now, no, I think dumaan na naman yung maraming technologies, and we're still here, which leads me as well, I think maybe in the future something that we could look into. Doc Ferdy has been mentioning this a while ago. We see this in Doc Ethel's explanations, and JP, and even in my we're gonna transition to education 5.0. We're doing that, although no, sana no, matulungan natin yung mga kababayan natin na sa education 2.5 pa ata sila, wala pang kuryente, wala pang masyadong internet. So just talking about accessibility and equitability as well, but I think we're all moving towards education 5.0, where we realize that behind this immense technology, it's important to go back to the human being. And I think that should be something, no. That's a fitting end because walang masyado. Doc Ferdy, natakot ata yung mga students mo. Wala siya lang question. So,
Oh,
so
I always tell the audience that it would be a disservice to your learner if you're not going to integrate technology, well, specifically AI. Uh, and teachers will not be replaced by this technology. But teachers who do not integrate AI would be replaced by those who do.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Thank you, Doc Ferdy. And I think this is a fitting end. Thank you so much, Doc Ethel, for taking time from very busy nasa UN, no? So, dahil sa UN Summit, Doc Ferdy and his work, and JP all the way as well. Ang lalayo natin sa isa't isa, but thank you for making sure that your human touch and human presence is felt even if we're far from one another. So, I think we can close our discussion. Again, a big thank you to our panelists and to our audience as well. Thank you for being active participants as well today. Thank you to our dear panelists for sharing their valuable insights with us this afternoon. Truly, our human touch and human presence will help us be better in the things that we do, especially in this time of AI era. The AI is now, it's not something in the future, and I hope it's something that we are excited about, but we want to make our structures accountable as well. So I think this is the time that we need to look into our national programs, investments, and capacity training, because like what Dr. Ethel has mentioned, we have to work together. It's not just the work of one, but the work of the many, and that many involves everyone from the top, everyone to the grassroots, and I hope we can do that. So thank you so much. Before we close, a final reminder that our evaluation form is now available. The QR code is on your screen, and the link is also posted in the comment section of our Facebook Live. Please accomplish the form within the next 3 days until Friday at 12 noon. Your responses will be the basis for issuing your e-certificate. And also, this is our final episode. So again, just to give a shout out, thank you to our panelists in the first episode, Miss Ivy and Ahe. I might miss some people, but Father Nolan, Sir Gino Lawayon, our amazing expert teachers, Mr. Angelo Badillo, Miss Cynthia Pontalan. We talk about research with Mr. Leo Ocampo, and I might be missing someone as well. I also did a session, and of course to our panelists today. So 7 amazing episodes, and we hope that you were able to learn. Dinaanan natin lahat ng area, no? It's exciting. So as we conclude this final episode, finally, it all goes back to this published document that we have created. This inspired us to make sure that we continue to talk about AI. So if you're interested, again, scan the QR code that you're seeing right now. It's a collective work of school leaders and educators. I think one of the first, yan, walang kita, published documents that thoroughly look into AI in the different areas of schooling, governance, research, students, giving us ideas on what AI literacy could be integrated, what lessons as well could be done. Of course, empowering our teachers with proper capacity building. So again, this is a product of collective wisdom, pastoral care, and professional insights from different educators across the MAPSA network, are the partner or of Rex Education. So there, scan the QR code if you want to have a copy of this book. Yeah, so today marks the end of our 7 episode journey. Congratulations to all of you who are here. We hope this series has sparked deeper reflection, excited us, as Dr. Ethel was mentioned. We hope this series has sparked deeper insights as well, strengthened our institutional readiness, bothered our minds. That's a good thing as well, and inspired you to shape an AI enabled future that remains rooted in human touch, human presence, human dignity, and the different mission and goals of our school. Thank you once again for journeying with us. Good evening, and God bless us all. See you in our next program.